if you're new to us, it's always fun for us to find out where you're at in the country. We're always very well represented geographically. Um, Tell us where you are, and then tell us the graduating class of your student. So are you
High
fully?
school, yeah.
Yeah,
What
right.
the
So
high
class of
school year.
2000.
So where are you and what's the high school year? And if you're a newbie or you're a groupie or you're in between,
Yeah, tell us where you are. New Jersey
Jersey
25.
2025. Nice.
Go. All right, we're
Okay.
all over the world already.
Nice, nice.
Yeah, absolutely. So we'll do quick introductions of ourselves. And I'm sure there's kind of a smorgasbord here today in terms of folks that might be pretty familiar with what we're doing as Peggy said, the self-named groupies that we've accumulated over the years versus if folks are just seeing us for the first time or somewhere in between. So we'll do quick intros, and then we just want to do a mini Cliff Notes version. We're thinking like 3 minutes again, for those of you that are just starting to pay attention to this whole thing. Here's how financial aid and scholarships work. And then we're going to transition and spend the bulk of our time making sure that you understand how we support families, especially DIY families that are just kind of doing this on their own, but want a little extra support. That's going to be the focus for today. And yeah, so without further ado, I'm Matt Carpenter, founder at College Aid Pro, just north of Boston here at our offices in Salem, Massachusetts. Been doing this for 20 years, believe it or not. Class 2025 is a special one for me because it'll be the 2 decades that I've been dragging families or shepherding families through this process. I'm grateful for that. I mean, it's part of that's a testament to just I love it, right? It's all I know. It's all I've done right out of college, and it's just very, very rewarding to help families through such a challenging, daunting, overwhelming process, but an awesome one, right? An important one. So, yeah, so that's a little bit about me, and you're in great hands here with my partner, Peggy, the fairy godmother of financial aid out there in Seattle. So, why don't you say hi, Peg, and take us away?
Yeah, so I've been doing this for quite a long time. Actually, from the financial industry, financial planner by background. So I'm always supporting families on the multiple planning opportunities in this process to kind of put your best foot forward to hopefully get the most money out of these colleges and lower your cost. I have twins. So when my kids hit high school, I got all into like the not the saving, but the like not saving for college, but saving on college. And that's when I really pivoted and started focusing just on this. Had my own business for a while, knew the guys at CAP, beta tested our software, and ended up joining. It's been 3 years now. So I'm the director of education. All these kind of events is what I do, is what I do. It's what I love. And it's very important for you. So today, as Matt said, you got to know stuff, right? You don't know what you don't know. So we help you know those things you need to know. But then we also provide you with software and tools to do it. We're there to help you along with the tools, and that's what we're going to spend some time on today. So they really are both super important, and so that's why we're delighted to be here to kind of show you all of that and how they come together. So let me take a minute here and share my screen. A couple housekeeping things because I know we'll get the questions. Yes, this is being recorded, so we will send that out to you. And if you have questions, happy to address those. Put them in the Q&A as opposed to the chat, and you can be anonymous if you want. So that's a plus over there, and it's one place for us to look. So let me just, as Matt said, what I'm going to do is real quick, right? I'm going to do a quick overview of just how financial aid works. Two quick slides here. So if you've heard this before, it's good. We'll reinforce it again. If this is brand new to you, it's just really important to understand this. So how does financial aid work? Like, this is basically a very simple formula, okay? The colleges do cost of attendance minus this SAI, used to be called an expected family contribution, and sometimes we do see that out there still, which is why it's there. That's how you get need. So that's for need-based aid. And you know what? I'm going to flip back a slide because let me show you this slide. This is even higher meta level. The big takeaway is all these colleges are discounting this sticker price, the cost of attendance, which is tuition fees, room and board, books, travel, personal expenses, the whole enchilada, right? And they're doing it with either need-based grants, you have to have need, and that's what I just showed you a minute ago, that cost of attendance minus the SAI, that's how you get your need. Or they're doing it with merit-based scholarships. This is Office of Admissions. They don't care if you make Bill Gates money. They want your child, and they're already starting that discounting process. You might not have even submitted financial aid forms yet, oftentimes not. So those are two buckets of free money. And then there's the loans and work study, which is a part of a lot of the college funding strategies for families, which is okay. You just got to limit the loans. They have to be a reasonable amount. So that's the big takeaway. And that's a big part of what we support families on. Like, how do colleges discount? They don't all do it the same way. And where is my family going to fit to get those discounts? So if you're not eligible for need-based aid, and we're going to show you, Matt's going to go in a minute into our software, and we're going to show you, you're going to be able to see this very, very easily and specifically to colleges. Then what? Well, then it's that middle bucket that I just showed you. It's the merit scholarships. How do you find merit scholarships? How do you know what schools are not going to award merit scholarships? There are quite a few schools, over 100, that just as part of their what we call their business plan, and these schools all have business plans, even though most of them are nonprofits, so don't kid yourself, they don't offer merit scholarships. They don't need to, right? The Ivies of the world, the NESCAC schools, which is like Middlebury, Williams, Vassar, all those schools in the Northeast, the Stanfords, the MITs of the world. There's no kid that's getting a merit award. And believe me, through all the years, Matt just said 20 years he's been doing it. I've been doing it for a very long time. I've had parents that show up second semester, senior year, and they're like, what? My kid got into Stanford and they're not getting any money. They have a 5.0 weighted average, perfect SATs. I'm like, yeah, if I met you 8, 9, 10 months ago, I could have told you this, right? That's why it's so important you're on here today. And our support with our tool is going to show you all of that, because believe me, it is hours. I wouldn't say hundreds maybe, but it's a lot of hours for you to go find all that information, make sure it's accurate. And we've done it. We've done this for you. So as Matt said, if you're a DIYer, we've got your back, and then we can offer support in different ways when you need it. But those are the two buckets, the need-based aid and the merit aid. And so it's important to understand which schools have what. So that kind of tees up the discussion and gives you a few insights into how financial aid works. All the schools are discounting. You got to understand how they're doing it. And it's with need-based grants and then the merit scholarships.
Yeah. And so I think it's important to have that foundation of education to be like, okay, here's a quick snapshot and how this thing works. Again, if you're brand new to this from a high level, but you need to know how it's going to work for you, right? Because our guidance, advice, recommendations are going to vary from one family to the next, from one student to the next, and everybody's unique. So we want to make sure that you have a really reliable tool that tells you where you guys are at. So you just heard that term, maybe for the first time, or maybe for the, second or third time, SAI. The first thing that we need to know in this process is what's our SAI? Because in short, that tells us, are we going to be eligible for financial aid? How much? At which colleges, right? If anything. So we see staring us in our face as soon as you guys create your account and onboard yourselves. And as a matter of fact, I see a bunch of you already created your accounts, which is great. And if you actually want to share this link, Peggy, I forgot to
Sure.
earlier, if you want to. Actually, you know what? Maybe we won't even do that yet. We'll hold that back and we'll just have them go through the club there.
Sure.
If you already shared it, doesn't matter.
No, I didn't.
So front and center, you're going to see your SAIs, your student aid index, your foundation for your need-based financial aid eligibility. Now, that has a lot to do with determining how much these schools are actually going to cost you, right? If there's one word that we use internally, right, that we are trying to accomplish um, as we help families through this. It's transparency. This process is a black box. We want to create transparency, and this is the first place that we do it. We're going to tell you, here's exactly what colleges are going to cost your family, and I can assure you, and we have the data to support it, our projections are way more accurate than the college's net price calculators. Okay, and again, we've got data to support it. We've done presentations on that. But here's a great example. So this is a family. This is a New York resident, right? As a matter of fact, this family's Manhattan resident, really smart kid. And you can see the schools that they're looking at. And there's some really interesting things to talk about. Number one, like Peggy said, usually the sticker price, the cost of attendance, is irrelevant at colleges. We need to be focused on, what are these schools actually going to cost me? Look at this, Columbia. $100,000 is what it's going to be next year. And they're not alone. That's not just Columbia, but we finally hit the six-figure threshold. Okay. But Columbia, NYU, two amazing competitive colleges. But look at what the difference in how much we're going to have to pay at each of those schools. Why is that? It's because this family owns their home, okay, their apartment, okay, in New York City. They have a lot of equity, right? Just because property prices have gone up so much, they bought it a long time ago. NYU thinks your home equity is fair game in this equation. Columbia, not so much, right? So that is why there's this huge discrepancy in price points. Now, every school's different in terms of their financial model. Some consider home equity, some consider no home equity, some consider some home equity tied to your income. So this is a divorced family, split household family. Some colleges look at both households, some just look at one. And you can see this is where it gets very overwhelming, right? Some schools meet 100% need, some meet 80. It's all baked into the algorithm here, right? So as soon as you tell us, okay, we're divorced, we're married filing jointly, I'm a single parent, here's our income, here's our savings, we're going to tell you this is what these schools are going to cost. And for a lot of families, they're thinking that the best strategy to find the best deals for school, if they're worried about it, say they tell their kids just apply to state schools. Okay, well, that's not too bad for our in-state state university here, but look at a popular out-of-state university. UMass Amherst, 61,000, right? So even at NYU and certainly at Columbia, we're getting a much better deal there. Okay. So again, I'm just trying to hammer home that the price point is not usually tied to the apparent cost of attendance. Now, let's put some colleges that you guys are curious to see in the chat here. Tell me where you're playing ED or your alma mater or your kid's dream school. Throw a college or two into the chat, and we'll take a look at how generous they are with financial aid, with scholarships, et cetera, and kind of show you another way that this form.
University of San Diego. Did you see that
Okay.
one? Oh,
Emory was the first one I saw.
oh,
So
you're right. Emory was up there first. You're right.
let's look at Emory. Again, amazing institution down there in Atlanta. We're going to pay $24,000 to go there. Okay. Now, if you want to get more information, well, why? Why are we going to pay 24,000? Well, we're going to get 64,000 in need-based financial aid based on our SII. Okay, awesome. What if I want to know more than that? Okay. Why are we getting 64,000 in financial aid? Well, because here's the SAI basis, basically this school's business model that they use, and they meet essentially 100% of need-based financial aid. Now, again,
Well, so what Matt means by that basis, the institutional means they require that second form, the CSS profile. So we tell you all of it because that's a common question. Well, how do I know? It's right in here.
yep, exactly. Let me see, and then you said another example here we could look at was University of San Diego.
Yep, that one would be a little different.
So this might be a good example here of a school where okay, we're getting a meaningful discount. Where's it coming from? Okay, that's interesting. We're getting need-based grants, but also merit-based scholarship. Now, here's something that we're really proud of, and we have a full data team that does this all day, every day. For every college in the country, we have every single scholarship that they offer, the qualifications for each. But I think our real differentiator is we're going to tell you, well, how much is your kid actually going to get? At San Diego, they're going to get 23,000. And then we have context. Well, why? Right? Okay, well, it's based on GPA, test scores, et cetera. And we're automatically projecting that. And again, if we want to get more details, you can see here's the average GPA at the school. Here's the average test scores, right? Here's the average amount of students that receive scholarships there. And even though we have all the averages baked in there, one of our most unique qualifiers is that these are not averages that we're giving you when we're talking about projections, right? Those are customized. Now, the last one I'll look at quick before I want to show you the next feature here, Vanderbilt. Wow, that's the best deal of any of the schools that we're going to be applying to. Why is that? This is a divorced family. Like I mentioned, most colleges that use what's called, like Peg said, the institutional methodology that require the CSS profile. Most of those colleges, if you're divorced or separated, they're looking at both households and they're going to consider both of those households' resources when determining your financial aid eligibility. Vanderbilt's an exception, right? Again, that's built in here. University of Chicago, RPI, Santa Clara, those are exceptions of schools that again you would think would require both households. They do not. So that is why we're getting such a phenomenal deal at Vanderbilt. So sorry, I want to make sure let's just say that we are still building our list of colleges and we want to get some more ideas for schools that are affordable. You can put your ideal admissions criteria in here. So you can say, I want to go see a school that's pretty close to my house because I know my kid, right? Maybe we take a long drive, but we're not getting on a plane. I know they're going to thrive in a smaller environment in terms of population, and they're thinking about major in bio, right? Whatever it is. I can put those filters in, but then I can say, hey, the platform told me I'm not eligible for need-based aid, but I want to know where my kid's going to get a scholarship, right? And we're going to instantly rank order that. Okay. And so maybe Wheaton wasn't on the list, but shoot, they're going to give us 40 grand regardless of my income. And maybe Hobart wasn't on the list, but great little school. They're going to give us almost, 40 grand just based on my kid's credentials. Or maybe I am eligible for financial aid. So I just want to sort based on that. Boom. There you go. Okay. Instantly ranking order all the schools that are most generous with financial aid that fit within your budget, that have the admissions criteria that's important to you all. Now, a couple important things I want to flag here. Everybody has access to our platform for free, but a couple parts of the technology itself are ring fenced. Okay. One of them is you can only put 3 colleges in here. So it's maxed out at 3, and you can't use that advanced search feature, okay, that I just went through. So you can't sort based on who's going to give you the most financial aid, who's going to give you the most scholarships, and you do not have access to the CAP Academy, which I'm going to focus on in a few minutes here. So those are where we're ring fenced. Now, in just about 5 or 10 minutes, I'm going to talk to you about the specific promotion we're doing today that to get access to all these things and a bunch of others I'm still going to show you. Just for today, for the folks that are showing up with us, it's going to cost you $25. Okay. If you go look at us on our website, if you haven't already, to have access to all this stuff, it's $149. Now, I'll share specifics with you all, but just sit tight on that. But I do want to make sure that you understand kind of what's free and what's not in the platform. Peggy, do you want to just take a minute? We won't probably get to elaborate as much as we typically like to on this part of it, but I know this is what's probably one of the most
Yes, I
important.
hear you. You want me to keep it short. I get it.
You know what I mean, Peggy? I don't want to have to cut
Actually
you off.
saying keep it short, Meg. Yeah. And a person put a comment in the chat or a question, and it's a very valid one, so I'll bring it up real quickly. She said, yeah, Matt's talking about they meet 99% or 99.9% in need. The whole thing is, what's your need? And it's not a marketing ploy, but it's extremely valid, right? That's what you need to know. That's what we're here to help you see, because it's not just, yeah, it's just there. It has, he's told you about Vanderbilt, about these divorce, about these home equity schools. We've got built in, we're never going to be down to the dollar, right? If we're a couple thousand off, we are killing it, right? And we do that quite often, right? So we're giving you a really good idea. That's the whole point, because you're exactly right. The person that put that in the chat, that's what really matters. Like, what do they think you can afford? It's great that they meet all of your need, but if they don't think you have much need, it doesn't help. So that's why we're here. So it's perfect comment slash question. So let me just give high level on affordability because it's really important to look at this over 4 years. As I said, I'm a financial planner. This is what gets me out of bed, right? So we take that net cost that Matt talked about up top, we multiply it by 4 and we put in an inflation factor. But we also, this is another thing that we do in the back end, we factor in other things. If you have 2 kids and a school's going to take that into account when the second year you have 2 in school, we know XYZ school is going to lower your SAI, and you might not get any NEBIGS grants year 1, and then year 2 you're getting them. So it's not just for Columbia, look at 27,000, multiply it by 4. That doesn't look right. That you notice here, that net cost, it doesn't come through, which means there probably is another child that Matt has in his sample family, and there's crossover here. So again, we are doing all of this for you in the back end, but it's important to know your 4-year costs. And the other thing we do that makes us, in my opinion, completely unique out there is we ask you how much you can afford for a year of school. And you might look, if you're married, you might look at each other and say, I don't know, which is great because now you're starting to talk about it. In his sample family, it's 75,000 over 4 years. So we like literally put in your face here, hey, that's your 4-year cost. That's what you're bringing to the table for like Binghamton. The net is 34,248. That's your delta. That's the difference that's uncovered. Very different than UMass Amherst that's over 183,000. So you want to understand this while you're building the college list so you don't have all schools that are completely unaffordable. So Matt, real quick, if you just click on more info, I'll just take another 30 seconds. Then we go the next step and we show you, okay, at UMass Amherst, if all of that is loans, you don't have any other way to cut into that 183,000 over 10 years, that's $2,000 a month in payments. If it's 25 years, it's still almost 1,200. And by the way, as a business major out of UMass Amherst, that's your take-home pay, 3,700. That's not doable. So this is forecasting to the future to help you make a good decision now. And believe me, I've been through this. Like I said, if you do this and you have discussions with your child throughout this, it's going to relieve the stress. You're going to maybe remove some schools. And when they start getting in, it's a more joyous time and you're not having crummy conversations about, I know you did all that work, but we just can't do this, which you could have known before your child started application. So it's a wonderful thing. And really it differentiates us that I don't think anybody else is doing this. So, and it's vitally important. Is
And
that okay? Did I do that quick enough?
we'll talk about it later, Peggy. I want to make a scene. I don't want to make a scene on the air here. Uh, another way to look at this is that what Peg just walked you through, that's just an objective third party where you don't have to be kind of the bad guys, the parent or whatever. You're just giving yourselves and your students a crystal ball and just going in eyes wide open. And it doesn't mean don't apply to those schools that are wildly expensive and the outcomes don't look great. We just got to make sure we hedge our bets, right? Kathy on my team brought up a great point. This is your guys' sandbox to play in. So anytime you want to change some information, you can and see how it impacts kind of your end result here. So you might be thinking about, should we take the ACT again? What happens if my 31 goes to a 34? How's that going to impact the scholarships at each of the colleges that we're applying to? It'll instantly change that, right? Or, you know what, we're thinking about maybe taking on a full-time job or part-time now. If our income goes up X amount, how's that going to impact our need-based financial aid? And again, same thing here in terms of your college budget. This allows you to say, okay, here's what's in my 529. Here's what we can do via monthly cash flow. Are we in a fortunate situation where grandparents might be contributing? So again, this is your tool. I'm gonna kind of
So when you're onboarding, if you're not sure, don't just say forget it, I'm not doing it. Just keep going because skip it, put $10, and then you can go back to Matt's point. Go look it up later, go back and update it. It's not the end of the world.
So this is every private scholarship in the country is baked into that database. So as soon as you want to say, hey, let me go see outside of the colleges, where should I be focusing efforts? going after private scholarship dollars, I can just say, hey, I'm a resident of California. Here's 7 pages of scholarships that are just for California residents, right? Or maybe I know I want to go major in accounting. Okay, here's 6 pages of scholarships that are just for, students that are thinking about pursuing accounting. So again, what we consider to be every major pain point is built into the platform here, on demand, line by line instructions through the FAFSA and through the CSS profile. This part of the platform, once you get accepted into the colleges, you're going to upload your offers here. We're going to translate them because that can be a little bit confusing. Take my word for it. But then we're going to tell you, did you get a good deal? Okay. What is the likelihood that you can go back to NYU or wherever and negotiate, essentially? We don't use that word, but appeal for more financial aid or more scholarships, right? We are playing a watchdog for these colleges to make sure that you are getting a fair shake, because as you would expect, oftentimes that's not how it works out. I'm looking at you, Boston College. And then finally, again, when it comes time to pay the bill, we're holding your hand through that piece. For those of you that need to borrow, we're making sure that you understand where to get where to get the best rate for your family. So I don't want to bury the lead here, and in some ways I have been. So that is our technology, but we have all the support on top of that for those of you that decide to join our club. And so this is the academy, right? This is again not part of the premium platform. Few things I want to talk about here. Number one, every other week we will have live office hours. So we will be there, at least 2 of our pros, to answer any and all of your questions. 7 p.m. Eastern time on Mondays, where you just show up and say, I don't know how to value my property. I don't know how to value my business. Which colleges consider home equity? Whatever it happens to be. We have in on those odd weeks of the Monday office hours, we have what we call our member only workshops. And these are these half-hour kind of power sessions that we're talking about stuff we don't talk about when we do kind of public presentations, right? Again, a great one is home equity. We do a whole presentation on how to value home equity. If we're homeowners, what do we need to know? What colleges are looking at it versus not looking at it? How do we increase or decrease the damage as much as possible there? What's everything we need to know about applying early decision? It's these types of things that we talk about. This CAP GPT, this is our AI. This is our AI powered, I guess you could say AI powered kind of brain. So let's see, what is institutional SAI? I probably got to spell things right here. I can type in anything I want here, and basically it is going to spit out, a very robust answer that is our collective kind of hive brains. Sometimes it takes a second while I'm sharing, but anyways, again, anything you want to ask. What should divorce families know about this process? What if I'm in the middle of a separation? Who requires the CSS profile? Anything that you can think of, right, is all built in here again, and that's just for our members, okay, just for the members of the club. Private Facebook community moderated by our experts again, and this is all in addition to the platform itself. And lastly here, I know Bill, you're listening, we still have to do we have to have a title in which people will engage with this part of the platform, please. But if I type in FAFSA here, okay, any content that we've done around FAFSA is going to instantly pop up, right? Of which obviously there's tons of videos, and it will automatically go right to that part of the particular video that we're talking about. Again, whatever you type into this part of the membership. So that is what you are entitled to. And in addition to that, and I don't want to kind of downplay the importance of this, you get unique pricing to any other products that we offer. So if you go to book an hour with one of our experts right now, you're going to see that it's $349, right, online. If you're a member of the club, which, like I said, in a second, I'll share the link with you, you can do the you get $100 off any hours that you want to book, right? And that's starting at $299. So said another way, it's $199 if you want to book an hour with anybody on our team. We have comprehensive services that we call Wake Me Up When It's Over services. Unlimited hours where we drag you through this entire process, where you can We do the financial aid applications for you. We tell you which schools are going to give you the most money. We negotiate with the colleges on your behalf. We tell you which loan to take, right? Unlimited hours. That's what we call it. Wake me up when it's over. If you're not a DIYer and you're like, ooh, that sounds interesting, join the club first. You get 25% off any of our Wake Me Up When It's Over packages. We don't offer that anywhere else. Okay. So let me bring you to that page. And if you can, or I can share this link, Peggy, because I don't think you have it. And again, you're not going to find this online, guys. This is just for whoever's on here today. Do this today. Don't over rotate on this one. You're going to get everything that I just talked about. Your risk is 25 bucks. Okay. And if you don't like it, that's it. That's what you're out. And if you really hate it, no, I don't even want to promise any money back, but
No, you get to get in there and see it. We're not promising that.
That's right.
Yeah. So
I
don't
thought about
overthink it. Like the big to do today is just sign up for the club, right? Sign up for
exactly.
the club, and then we can continue to support you through the education, through somebody wrote in there, how do we meet with you one-on-one? We can do that. We can, like Matt just elaborated, it can be a comprehensive, it can be an hour. We'll show up however you need us. But the key thing now is just get in the club, just get in the membership, lock this in, and then we can continue to support you.
That's the first step. And if you're somebody that says, hey, I want, tell us, right? If you're somebody that like, you can raise your hand, right? And say, I want to know more about your comprehensive services. I'm not the DIYer. I'm the one that wants you to do it all for me. Just let us know. You can write into the chat or the Q&A right now, whatever. We'll get you a link where you can get the details around that. But even still, you're going to want to get into the club first to take advantage of that. That's going to more than pay for the discount, the 25% discount you'll get for any of those
Yes,
services.
we will be. Yeah, we're going to follow up with the recording as well as a link to this, even though it's in the chat. Yeah, you will get this and you'll be able to sign up through it. And it's a $25 and then ongoing. Somebody asked $9.99 a month. There's no contracts. You're not locked in. Stay in the membership. People stay for a while because once they're in there, they've got younger kids. And I mean, they just let us guide you through this whole piece as all your kids grow up. We're even starting to add, okay, you're done services, right? We get the journey you're on, and we want to be on it with you. So we really strategically have tried to make this so it's almost a no-brainer for anybody to get signed up here, right? We don't want to price people out. As Matt said, on the website, it's $149, a lot different than $25, right? So,
Yeah.
um,
Sorry, Peggy, finish your
no,
thought.
go ahead. Go ahead.
So, and again, too, if you're hearing this going, yeah, but I want to talk with somebody for an hour. I want to know how to value my business. We got a question around which family, um, because the rule is, let me state what the rule is for divorced families first. It's the family that provides the most financial support to the student, right? For a lot of families, that's a gray area. It's hard to figure out, but we can use that gray area to our advantage. And that's where it's like, all right, book an hour with one of our experts. But even to do, if you want to do that, don't spend $349. Get the $25 here. We'll get you the $100 off coupon code from there.
Yeah,
Dedicated.
and let me just speak to, because there's a question, do you have experts? Because we've mentioned our pros a couple times. We have built a team of experts, at least 15 people at this point, that I personally was charged with finding. Matt vetted them, I vetted them, our CEO vetted them to make sure they really know what they're doing. So I sleep at night feeling really good that our families have this team of pros. And yes, we do have one who's ex-military. He's a financial advisor and he does this work and he's got deep expertise in that. So you need one-on-one support, you're in the club, you sign up with Mike Hunsberger. Good. He, you can have as many meetings as you want with him and he can get in the weeds on your personal situation. So some of our pros are, they either are currently at colleges in financial aid, University of Oklahoma, MIT at Sloan, Harvard School of Medicine. We have a past USC financial aid director. So and all these people are working with us because they believe in what we're doing and they want to they want to be a part of it, right? They want to be a part of this movement of getting all of you educated and providing the support, so that you can move through this process and not be at the mercy of the colleges. You saw Columbia is $100,000. Like, don't, play in this sandbox and be able to understand the arena that you're in. And if you do that, it'll be much less stressful. It'll be better for your pocketbook, and it'll be better for your relationship with your child. Trust me, I've been through this, so it's very, very true.
Yeah. So I'd say, I mean, again, we're looking at, you guys saw it, Columbia, $100,000 a year. And again, we're picking on Columbia. They're going to be one of dozens,
Right. They're not an anomaly, just, yeah.
And again, too, who cares if for you if you're paying $26,000, which that family is. So but the point of where I'm going with that, don't overthink $25 right now. Go in there, let us prove our value. And then you can decide, hey, I'm not a DIYer. I want an hour with somebody. That's going to be the most cost-effective way. I want you guys to take over at cap. Great, we'll do that for you. And again, you can do it at a discount in which you won't be able to get through anywhere else. But yeah, that's it. I mean, that's the messaging. Hopefully that was helpful today. Hopefully you learned a couple things regardless of whether you decide to join the team or not. But confident you'll be happy you did so. All right, Peggy, any parting words, buddy?
No, I think I just shared a minute ago. So yeah, we look forward to seeing all of you in our club, in our membership.
Can you
And I
call it
know
the
you'll be
clairvoyance,
happy.
Peg?
I know you'll be happy you made the decision. I know you
Can you
will.
please call it the clairvoyance for good luck?
Okay, join the club, everybody.
Thank you, Peggy. Bye, everybody.
All right, everybody have a great rest of the day.